Life is not about giving zero fucks. It's about learning to give the right fucks. So here are the fucks that are working for me. Take them with a grain of salt, but breathe them deep into your system before judging them. I will likely use the F word a handful of times, so if you're available for that, you are welcome to join me on this journey. So let's call this 7 fucks to a fruitful life. The first fuck. Do the hard thing first. When I was a kid, I used to eat all my vegetables before anything else at dinner. I'm not really sure why, but I know that it had something to do with the desire to just get it out of the way so that I could be more fully present with the things that mattered. Now, of course, vegetables matter. I particularly like vegetables as an adult, but what it speaks to is this: resistance. Lean into what you resist, because what you resist is likely the next hard thing you know you should do. And we'll revisit resistance later, but for now, just consider what the hard things are in your life. Is it a difficult conversation with your lover or a friend? Is it a boundary you need to set with a client that needs to be deeply expressed? Is it 4 hours of deep focused work on the weekends so that you can quit your job and have a soul-aligned life? If that type of thing really gets your loins tingling, you know? So do those things in your life like your life depends on it, because it does. Life wants to see your devotion to your craft, your mission, and to love. So get some skin in the game and do the hard things first. Second, presence is greater than productivity. So get ready for some paradox. It doesn't matter what you do in your life. It matters how you do your life. So take some inventory, and by inventory I mean like proper inventory, some good ruthless reflection of how you're showing up for life. Am I bringing all of me to meet the desires of life? Or rather, am I bringing all of me to meet the fullness of who I can be when I give everything without holding back? So it doesn't matter how much you do in your life. Make $2,765,000. Buy a great little beach shack, raise a family. The productive output of your life is meaningless without refining the presence in which you live each moment. So get into integrity with who you truly want to be. Drop the need to get shit done and focus more on being fully present with each task and each moment you face. The world craves your presence more than anything. So paradoxically, the more you embody presence in your everydayness, the more magical and productive life becomes. You create space to talk with that stranger, if it feels like a yes in your body, of course. You sit with the feeling that arises in a beautiful moment for just that much longer. Then moments later, you have one of those juicy revelatory moments where it all just clicks. Or you simply tend to just be in the sweet spot, the perfect time and place, more often than you've experienced before. Presence is going to take you where you want to go far faster than any productivity hack ever will. So give a fuck about presence, and you can thank me later. Number 3, resistance is the doorway. Right now, there is a truth moving through you. And can you feel it? Are you willing to meet it, open to it, surrender to it, so that it can transform you from the inside out with your collaborative action? Life only ever gives us the next thing we ought to do. We look for answers, we pray, we seek to know how it's all going to work out. But the truth is, you don't know, I don't know, nobody knows. We just don't know. But what does become clear is often the vague sensation that life breathes into us that says, go there today. Take that trip. Write that email. Buy her those flowers. Slow down today and just sit your butt on the beach. Sometimes it might be less of a breath and more of a slap if we've been ignoring the subtle cues that life's been presenting us. You need to leave that relationship. You need to move down the coast. You need to eat better now. Life is always trying to move through us, but we resist because of the cult of comfort and safety that we've grown up within. To be clear, comfort and safety are beautiful. Please cultivate them in your life. But do not sacrifice your desire to expand in the name of safety. And certainly don't disregard life's desire for you by not listening to those cues, because life has desires for you, right? Resistance is the doorway to the life that you truly want. You don't know what's behind that doorway. You won't know how it's all going to work out. And you certainly won't have a smooth journey. But what else are you here for, other than to live fully in the trust and commitment to being fully alive? Lean into what you resist. Do the thing that is becoming louder on your heart, and it will all make some sort of fucked up sense later down the road. So give a fuck about listening to life and allow life to use resistance to strengthen you. Lean into that. Number 4, make space to feel your emotions fully. Your emotional body is the root of every decision you make. Without connection to your emotions, you cannot make great decisions, nor by proxy can you live a great life that makes you feel fully alive. If you feel stuck in life, chances are there's an emotion stuck there too. So I believe that feeling is the highest spiritual practice. Are you honoring your body, your wisdom, your intuition, and your experience by letting yourself fully have the experience that you are currently having? Most people are carrying the emotional baggage and hurt from decades ago. And we all have to experience this. There's no being human without navigating the stickiness of past hurt, trauma, and all of the densities that we encounter. But we all have to experience the pain of trauma in being human in the exact context that is perfectly designed for our soul to evolve and learn what it needs to learn. Full stop. This moment is either the moment you decide to be fully alive or not. So are you going to break down the emotional armor you've put on? The mask that says you need to be a good girl or a nice guy and fully feel what it's like to just be you. With all the suppressed energy of a lifetime of experience, self-abandonment, and whatever else has calcified in your system. Create a daily practice to process and feel this fully so you can de-thaw. Give 30 minutes at the end of each day to just sit with yourself, to breathe, and to get moving anything that's gotten stuck throughout the day that is now in your system. Whether it's subtle frustrations, to deep anger, to sorrow, or to the deep yearnings of your heart, surrender to it. In creating space to open those doors, you allow for more and more to flow through you. You realize just how deep everything goes, and let it all come. It might not flow at first. It may take a month, it may take a week, heck, it might even take a year for you to get down to your core. But I can guarantee you that you will be a stronger presence, a more embodied man or woman, and a more liberated version of you, so that you can meet the world without closing your heart to old patterns. Number 5, you're not wrong, you're just early. Something is written on your heart. You desire to pursue it, to learn it, to share with the world what you discover. And the world doesn't seem to want it. Yet, you get a little discouraged. You begin to feel that something is wrong with you, that you're on the wrong path, that you're just not cut out for this. You're not wrong, you're just early. Artists from thousands of years ago are just now being celebrated. Spiritual teachers from the last turning of the ages are just now coming into the mainstream. Maybe you were preaching Bitcoin in 2018. Maybe you were attuned to the need for real food in a community. Maybe you understood just how powerful it is to be a fully expressed masculine, grounded in his presence and not afraid to show his vulnerability. But the world cut you at your knees because that was not the template that the generation prior decided was valuable. And a fun fact, studies have shown that testosterone amplifies what culture values. So if culture values war and separation, testosterone will deepen it. Or if culture values generosity, trust, and honesty, then you do the math, testosterone values that. So aside from that, often the most impactful things arrive on Earth just a little too early. I firmly believe that everything is actually perfectly on time, but it can feel like we are bringing something to the world that the world is not yet ready for. But keep giving your gifts anyways. Give a fuck about creating the beautiful world you know is possible. Because it is. It just takes you staying true to the commitment of bringing through what you and only you can bring into the world. Even if the world resists it at first, keep on, my friend. Number 6, expand your window of tolerance. So for the love of God, please give a fuck about your nervous system. Learn about it, study it, desire to strengthen it within your life like your life depends on it, because again, it does. The best way I've heard it described is from a man named Johnny Miller who runs a program called Nervous System Mastery. You can check him out at nsmastery.com. He says, we don't experience the world, we filter our experience through the state of our nervous system. So in a culture of chronic dysregulation and cortisol, everything seems to be a threat to us on some level. Disagreement, conflict, a text message without punctuation. I'm guilty on that one. All of these things seem to be threats to our filter that is trying to determine what is safe and what is not safe. So we get thrown out of whack because we don't really know what's going on in our systems. And how can we regulate ourselves and others to be and expect others to be fully safe, present, and grounded in the world if we don't know how to regulate and connect to our own self? So the window of tolerance is a spectrum of life's experiences, circumstances that our nervous system can actively digest without being thrown into the extreme states of mobilization, which is fight, flight, or fawn, or even on the opposite side is immobilization, which is freeze. So it's a nuanced discussion. That's why I suggest you learn about it for yourself, but nonetheless, the more we can expand the circumstances that we can actively remain regulated and balanced within, essentially, the more empowered and resourced we are to live creatively. So then we can be in connection with others, we can access higher functions of our bodies, minds, and souls. Who wouldn't want that, right? So dysregulation is great if you're being chased by a tiger, but it's not quite so charming when it's an everyday thing that happens when you come home and feel like you need to walk on eggshells to prevent potential conflict with your family, lover, roommate, whatever the heck it is. There's plenty more examples, but I'll just use that one because that's what came through. So give a fuck about your nervous system, full stop. And I'll say it one more time, give a fuck about your nervous system. For me, it was the missing key between my soul, my intellect, and the unconscious patterns that I had been playing out all throughout my life. So lastly, number 7, learn by osmosis. The question you need to ask yourself is, are you inspired by the people around you? If not, you're fucked. Because you're the average of the 5 closest people to you. So if you want to live an extraordinary life, you need to find people that inspire you, people that challenge you to become all that you can be. So this might mean joining a men's or a women's circle. This might mean paying good money to work with a coach, a therapist, or a mentor. Going on a retreat with creative people that are making big projects happen that you are lit up by. Moving to a town or a city that makes you feel fully alive. So kids don't learn by what their parents tell them. They ultimately just become them by osmosis. So the same is true as a conscious adult. The fastest way to learn is to surround yourself with people who will sharpen your awareness, challenge you to play bigger, and hold you accountable for taking radical responsibility for everything in your life. Because in the presence of someone running a business similar to the one you want to build, you are going to expand. Listen to the way that an embodied couple in their sacred devotion to each other's nervous system talks to each other, and how they navigate conflict, how they show their affection to each other. Spend time walking the land with an organic farmer who is so passionate about feeding real food to future generations. Let that shit inspire you and expand you, not expire you. So by being in the presence of these people, you soak up their experience and their wisdom. You pick up on their energetic shadows, for sure. This happens all the time. But you get to really learn what it's like to focus on surrounding yourself with people that inspire you and see the real-time feedback that has on your capacity to show up and play big in life. So surround yourself with people who will celebrate you for who you are now and who will challenge you to become all that you can be. Because this is the perfect recipe to truly become all that you can be. And I can single-handedly say that creating support lines of embodied men devoted to inner work and physical growth and their sort of business expansion has been the most extraordinary expander in my life. So go. Get out there, find your people, play bigger, give a fuck about learning and growing, because what else are you here for? So, yeehaw. I love y'all. If you like this, please subscribe, give me $500 or something, and call it a day. Alright gang, appreciate you. See you in the next one. Ciao.